Hello students, I am Sridhar Jalapati. Welcome to my YouTube channel Sridhar Jalapati Aptitude Classes. In this video, I will be explaining TCS NQT October 25th morning slot aptitude questions. I have gathered these questions from some of the students who have taken the test today. I don't know how they have how they have gathered these questions. They have just sent me these questions and I am making the solutions for these questions so that those who are taking the test tomorrow you may be benefited and you may get the similar kind of questions, not the same but similar kind of questions. If you see, I have already uploaded yesterday's questions, and in today's morning as well as in the evening slot also, the pattern of the questions is almost same. Few 2-3 questions from statistics, few questions from those blood relations. That pattern is what they are following in every slot. And in this video, I will be explaining only morning slot questions. Soon after another 2-3 hours, I will be uploading evening slot questions as well. First of all, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, do subscribe. I will be uploading a lot of videos in future as well, which will be beneficial to you for all the competitive exams that you will be appearing in future. Let's start the discussion. Here is the question. The sum of the ages of two friends is 74. After 1 year, the ratio of their ages will be 9:10. What was the ratio of their ages 9 years ago? Now, as the sum of their ages is 74, after 1 year their ages are 9:10. That means if I add 1 to each of the person's ages, the ratio should become 9:10. So by trial and error method, if you take two numbers, obviously if you see the ratio is very close. So sum of the two numbers 74 and they should be very close. So I can take them as like 35 and 39. 35 and 39. Now if I add 1 to each of them, then the ages are 36 and 40. So obviously this ratio is 4 9s, 4 10s, 9:10. Right? So that means their present ages are 35 and 39. Whatever I have taken is absolutely right. If you don't like this method, I will tell you alternate also, but let me finish this question. What was the ratio of their ages 9 years ago? These are their present ages, 35 and 39. Then what are their ages 9 years ago? 9 years ago, their ages are 35 minus 9, 26. And this person is 39 minus 9, 30. Ratio is 2 13s, 2 15s. 13:15. But unfortunately, it is not there in the options. It is given as 13:12, but answer is 13:15. Not only in this question, surprisingly, yesterday there was a huge problem with the server. Today, the problem is with the options. Out of 30-40 questions what I have received from the students, nearly for 10 questions the options are incorrect. I may be wrong, you also check them, but for most of the questions the options are incorrect. So for this question, the ratio of the ages is 13:15. It is not there in the options. Now here I have gone by trial and error method. If you want to answer this by actual method, as the sum of their ages is 74, let their ages be A and B. So A plus B is equal to 74, first equation. Then after 1 year, the ratio of their ages is 9:10. So after 1 year, this person is A plus 1, second person B plus 1. This is given as 9:10. So if I cross multiply, 10A plus 10 is equal to 9B plus 9. All variables one side, constants other side. So I will be getting 10A minus 9B is equal to minus 1. This is second equation. So we have two equations now. A plus B is equal to 74 and 10A minus 9B is equal to minus 1. So I think you are all very good at solving these two equations because these are two equations in two variables. Obviously you will get A value, B value, and ultimately you will get the same numbers what I have taken, 35, 39. These are their present ages. But 9 years ago you want their ratio of ages. So 9 years ago this person 35 minus 9, 26, whereas this person 39 minus 9, 30. So required ratio 26:13, which is 13:15, not in the options. Okay, anyway, this is the question. Let's move to the next one. Actually, question is simple, but somehow the options are incorrect. I don't know how many students have wasted their valuable time by checking this question again and again because the answer what they have got is not in the options. So obviously students do not assume that this question is incorrect. They are always in an assumption that they are wrong. So that's a big mistake from TCS people in asking this question. Next one. What is the mean deviation from the median for the data given below? Sorry. You are asked to find mean deviation from the median. First of all, deviation from the median, deviation is nothing but difference from the median. Now, what is the median of these four observations? First of all, to find the median, you have to write observations in ascending order. So, 28, 34, 46, 48. This is the ascending order of the observations. As there are 4 observations, median is, there are 2 numbers, average of these 2 is median. So 34 plus 46 by 2, which is 80 by 2, 40 is the median. This is median. And we have to find the mean deviation from median. Mean deviation from median is nothing but from this median, what is the deviation of each observation. Median is 40, 40 deviation from 28, 12, and 40 deviation from 36, and 40 deviation from 46, 6, 40 deviation from 8, 8, sum of all these by number of observations 4. So this is 32 by 4, which is 8. Again, there is no option. And there is no chance that you will get these as answers. Those numbers are nowhere related to the question. So the mean deviation from the median of the given data is 8. How did I calculate? First of all, median is, after arranging the objects in ascending order, there are 2 numbers in the middle. Mean of these 2 numbers is median, which is 40. Now deviation of each observation from median is 40 minus 34 first observation, or you can take this 40 minus 28, 12. 40 minus 34, 6, 40 minus 46, 6, and 40 minus 48, 8. We always take positive difference, modulus. So by number of observations, which is 8. Again, in options it is not there. Let's move to the next question. This is similar to the question which I have explained yesterday. In yesterday's 24th exam slot also, this question was there both in morning and afternoon slot. You have to find, there are 2 things which are in the same manner, the operation. You have to identify them. So here D, if I number the letters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, D is 5th one, S is 3rd one, H is 4th one, W is 1st one, and M is 2nd. Let's see the second. P is 2nd one, and R is 4th one, K is 3rd one, Q is 5th one, N is 1st one, and H is 1st one, K 5th one, W 4th one, Q 2nd one, R 3rd one. And next here P 4th one, T 2nd one, Z 1st one, G 3rd one, M 5th one. So far all are different. Let's see the last. G 5th one, T 2nd one, W, T, K, G. Here I think I lost the first letter. Maybe B. Yeah, when the W, T, K, here it is B. So G 5th letter, T 3rd one, and K 4th one, B 1st one, W 2nd. 5, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, 1, 2. So 1st and 5th. The operation is same. The operation in 1st and 5th, that is A and E, it is same operation. Right, let's move to the next one. Now you are asked to find the simplified value of an expression. This is 1.728 plus 1 by 1.24 plus 1 minus 0.343 by 2.19. What is the value? Now if you see here, 1.728 plus 1 is 2.728 by 1.24. So obviously this is more than 2. This is more than 2 plus something. Whatever is this, obviously this cannot be negative. This cannot be negative. Obviously this is positive. So 2 plus positive value, definitely more than 2. But in the options there is no number which is more than 2. That means another mistake in the options. This value is definitely more than 2, but among the options there is no value which is more than 2. This first expression itself is more than 2, plus obviously this is a positive value, and 2 plus positive value is obviously more than 2. In the options it is not given. Another error in giving the options. I am not blaming the people, but yes, these are the errors what they have made in giving the questions. Next one. The area of a sector with a central angle 15 degrees of a circle is 231 square centimeter. If pi is 22 by 7, what is the circumference of the circle? By the way, how do you find the area of the sector when central angle is given? Area of the sector when center angle is given is theta by 360 into pi r square. Yesterday, if you remember, on 24th questions, some kind of same pizza question involved where central sector is involved. There, when the length of the arc is given, area is LR by 2. When length of the arc is given, area LR by 2. When central angle is given, area theta by 360 into pi r square. And this is given as 231. So in this central angle is given theta 15 by 360 into pi asked us to use as 22 by 7. R square we do not know, we have to find, is equal to 231. right? So if I go for simplification, r square is equal to 231 into 360 into 7 by 15 into 22. If I simplify these numbers further, now 15 ones, 15 24s, again 11 twos, 11 twos, 21s, 2 ones, 2 12s. So we got it as 21 can be written as 7 into 3, 12 can be written as 3 into 4. 12 is 3 into 4. So now radius is 7 into r square is 7 into 3 into 3 into 7 into 4, if I am not wrong. Right? This is r square value. Let me check it. Yesterday also I made some of calculation errors, so I need to be careful today. I don't want to make any mistakes. 15 twos, 4s, and then 11 twos, 11 21s, and 2 ones, 2 12s. Right. So therefore radius is 7 into 3 into 2, which is 42. Radius is 42. Now you are asked to find the circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r, which is 2 into pi is 22 by 7 into r is 42. So if I simplify again, I am going to get a bigger value, but in the options these are like 2.45, 2.8, 1.45, 2.1. No way you get this as the circumference of the circle. So another mistake in the options. You also check it, 7176, so it is clearly 152 into 2, 304 centimeter is the circumference of the circle. 2 pi r. Right? It is again not in the options, but again leave the options. Here is the concept. By using the area of the sector, we found the radius, which I got it as 42. Now perimeter of the circle is 2 pi r. Let's move to the next one. With symbols having their usual meanings, the mean of the given data is 39.2. Then what is the missing frequency? Here something is missing that you have to find. What do you mean by with symbols having their usual meanings? Normally X stands for observation, F stands for frequency. That means here observation 36 occurred 10 times, observation 40 occurred 13 times, observation 35 occurred 12 times, observation 44 occurred certain number of times that we are asked to find. And have you noticed? Again, options are nowhere related to the question. This missing frequency cannot be these decimals, right? How can a particular object occur decimal number of times? Like 44 cannot occur 124.2 times, right? 44 cannot occur 123.8 times. Probably these options are mismatched. Maybe for some other question these options are there. So again there is some error, but I will tell you how to answer this question. Let this missing frequency be f. How do we find the mean for the discrete series? If you have you gone through my elementary statistics video which I have uploaded as a part of TCS NQT series? If not, go through that. So to find the mean for the discrete series, it is sum of sigma fi xi by sigma f. I will explain what are these terms. Fi xi is nothing but product of observation multiplied with frequency. So this is 360, this is 520, this is 420, and 350 plus, yeah, and this is 44f. So on adding all this, this is 940, 1300. So 1300 plus 44f is sum of the observations multiplied by frequencies by sum of the frequencies 13 plus 12, 25 plus 10, 35 plus f. And this gives the mean, which is given as 39.2. This is already given as 39.2. So if I simplify, 1300 plus 44f is equal to 39.2 into 35 plus 39.2f. So bring all f terms one side, constants other side. We will be getting it as 44f minus 39.2f is 4.8f. 4.8f is equal to 39.2 into 35. If I multiply, this is 70 and this is 315, 322, sorry, 322, and this is 105, 137. So this is going to be 1372. All this multiplication is 1372. So if I send this 1300 to right hand side, 72. So f is equal to 72 by 4.8. So this I can write it as 720 by 48. That is 24 twos, 24 3, 2 ones, 215. So we got frequency as 15. This is 15, but this is not there in the options. The unknown frequency is 15. But leave the options. This is a procedure to find the unknown frequency. Don't ask me what to do if I get the same question. If this is the question, then as there are no options, TCS will definitely give you a mark. It will be 1 mark will be added to all the students who attempt this question. Even if you don't attempt, they may add. I'm not sure. That is between you and TCS. I'm just a trainer. Okay. Right. Here is the next one. Raju lends rupees 3000 to Bharat and a certain sum to Charan. 3000 to Bharat and certain sum to Charan at the same rate at 6% per annum simple interest. If after 5 years Raju altogether receives 1650 as interest from both Bharat and Charan together, then what is the sum lent to Charan? Right? So he has already lent 3000 to Bharat, which we know, and at the rate of interest 6%, that also we know, and time period 5 years, that also we know. So in case of Bharat, what is the simple interest received? PTR by 100, 3000 principal, time period 5 years, rate of interest 6 by 100. So if I simplify 0, 0 get cancelled, this is 900 is the interest he received. So if Raju receives 900 from Bharat itself and total 1650, then what is the interest he received from Charan? Total interest minus 900, which is 750 rupees he received from Charan. So now let us find the principal in case of Charan. Again, simple interest formula SI is equal to, in case of Charan, principal we do not know, time period 5 years, same rate of interest R by 100. So if I simplify, this is again 5 ones, 550, 150s, and 2 threes, 250s, and 2 ones, 275. So P is 75 into 50, 75 into 50, which is 3750. 3750, 75 into 50, right? Or 3250, 75 5s, 370, 350 and 3750. Let me do the calculation part again. So here interest is 750. P we do not know, T 5 years, R 6 by 100. 5 ones, 5 20s, 2 3s, 2 10s, cross multiplication. P is equal to 7500 by 3, which is 2500. I mean, I don't know what I've done in the last case. So it is 2500 is the answer. Right? These days I'm making a lot of calculation errors. Please excuse me. Okay. So the money lent to Charan is 2500. Next question. What is the fourth proportional to the, what is the fourth proportional of the mean proportional between 3 pairs are given? 3 pairs are given. The pairs are 4, 6.25, 0.0027, 300. This is one pair. And 1.2 into 10 power minus 3 and 3. This is another pair. Okay. So now first we have to find the mean proportional for each pair. Mean proportional is nothing but for A and B, mean proportional is root AB. For A and B, mean proportional is root AB. I hope you all know this. This mean proportional is also called as geometric mean. So this is root 4.4 into 6.25, which is root 25, which is 5. Whereas this is root, this can be written as 27 into 10 power minus 4 into 3 into 10 square. So this is 81 by 100, 81 by 100, which is 9 by 10, which is 0.9. So the mean for the second pair is 0.9. Mean for the second pair is 0.9. Mean for the third pair, this can be written as 12 into 10 power minus 4 into 3, that is 36 into 10 power minus 4. So this is under root, so 6 by 100, which is 0.06. The mean of these is 0.06. Under root of this is mean, which is 0.06. Now How do you find the fourth proportional? For A, B, C, D, D is called fourth proportional, and that is if product of means is equal to product of extremes. That is A by B is equal to C by D. A by B is equal to C by D. So this is A, this is B, this is C, and we are asked to find D. D value we have to find. So if I substitute A is 5 by B 0.9 is equal to C 0.06 by D. So from this, D is equal to 0.06 into 0.9 by 5, which is again nowhere related to the options. Answer is this, 0.06 into 0.9 by 5. So if I simplify, this can be written as 54 into 10 power minus 3 by 5, right? That is 10.8 into 10 power minus 3. 10.8 into 10 power minus 3. So that is nowhere there in the options, and that's the problem. But question is very tricky one. It takes some time to understand the question itself. After that, to answer it takes some more time. So first of all, you have to find the mean proportional in each pair. There are 3 pairs, so you will get 3 numbers, A, B, C. So for these A, B, C, you have to find the fourth proportional. We all know, we in school days we studied, for 4 numbers, if product of means is equal to product of extremes, we say they are in proportion. So D value is actually 10.8 into 10 power minus 3, but that is not there in the options. Anyway, this is the procedure. Let's move to the next one. A sales representative's commission is 6% on all sales up to 15,000 rupees and 5% on all sales exceeding this 15,000 rupees. He remits, that means submits, 47,350 to his company after deducting his commission. What were the total sales? That means on a particular day he made certain number of sales. After taking his commission, he handed over 47,350 rupees to the company. Then total how many sales he made? In these questions, I always suggest first check with the round figure. Among the, I will tell you both the methods. If you go by the options, let us go with the round figure first. I am not saying that is the answer. If you check with that, and fortunately if that satisfies, you're lucky, that itself is the answer. So if the total sales are 50,000, by the way, out of 50,000, what is his commission? For first 15,000 rupees, his commission is 6%. It's given for first 15,000 rupees sales, 6%. 6% on 15,000 rupees is 900 rupees commission. And on the remaining 35,000, because total 50,000 sales we are assuming, right? On the remaining 35,000, his commission will be 5%, which is 1750. 35 5 is 175, right? So 1750. Therefore, total commission 900 plus 1750, 2650. So on 50,000 rupees, if his commission is 2650, then what is the remaining money? 5, 3 and 7, 4, 47,350, and that is what he has to submit to the owner, and that's what given in the question. So fortunately, our random number 50,000 itself satisfied. That is the answer. Okay, so I always suggest in these questions go by the options method. Otherwise, you can go for the variable method. The other method is, let us assume the total sales X. Then what is his total commission? On first 15,000, 6% of 15,000 plus on the remaining X minus 15,000 rupees sales, 5%. 5% on this, right? This should be equal to X minus 47,350. Equate this equation, solve this equation, you will get the value of X, and that is the answer. Okay, right. Next question. The value of 1 gram of gold, the value of 1 gram of gold is 90 times that of 1 gram of silver. If the weights of equal volumes of silver and gold are in the ratio 10:19, what is the value of bar of silver that is equal to the bulk to a bar of gold of value? Question is fine, but have you noticed the options? You are asked to find the value of bar of silver, but in the option it is given as ratios, 40:46:55, 16:18:21. These are nowhere related to the question. Again, there is an error, right? So I am skipping this question. Next one. Don't ask me what to do, sir, if I get the same question tomorrow. I think, don't worry, TCS people may give you an extra mark if there are any errors from their end. Okay. The total surface area of a solid hemisphere is 75 times the area of the circle whose diameter is 6 centimeter. Then what is the radius of the hemisphere? By the way, solid hemisphere, surface area of the sphere is 4 pi r square. Surface area of hemisphere is 2 pi r square. Then total surface area is nothing but surface curved surface area plus top, which is again circle pi r square. So therefore total surface area TSA, total surface area of hemisphere is 3 pi r square, and this 3 pi r square is given as 75 times area of the circle whose diameter is 6. If diameter is 6, radius is 3, then area is pi r square, which is 3 square. So on both sides pi get cancelled, and if I simplify, I'll be getting it as 3 ones 325s. So r square is equal to 25 into 3 square, that is 5 into 3, 225, then r is equal to 15. So radius of the hemisphere is 15. But again, what are these options? There is again an error in giving the options. The radius of the hemisphere is 15 here. I may be wrong, you check it again. I have no time to verify these questions. I just got the questions through WhatsApp from the students, and I am straight away explaining these. So here is the error in the option, and but the answer is this. Total surface area of the hemisphere is 3 pi r square. Right? Radius is 15 here. Next one. A very good question. Little difficult for the beginner, and you may not understand for the first time. So pause the video and read the question carefully before you listen to my explanation. A leak in the body of a ship which can admit 5 units of water in 16 minutes got detected when it is 40 kilometers. This is 40 kilometers away from the shore. Entry of 60 units of water will cause the ship to sink, which has a pump that can thrown out 12 units of water in an hour. Aided by the pump, what should be the average speed of the ship in order to reach the shore just before it starts sinking? Okay, it's very simple. The situation is some water is coming into the ship. At the same time, ship has some mechanism which can pump out water. If total water which enters into the ship is 60 units, then the ship may sink. And now the ship is 40 kilometers away. So before the ship gets the 60 units of water, to reach the shore, what speed it should maintain? That is the question. So first of all, what is the incoming water? What is the water which is coming in 16 minutes, 5 units of water. So in 16 minutes, 5 units of water. Then let us convert this to hour, because it can pump out 12 units of water in an hour, right? So let us calculate this also for hour. So then 1 hour is nothing but in 60 minutes, how many? For 16 minutes, 5 units. For 60 minutes, how many? 5 by 60 into 60. If I simplify 4 4s, 4 15s, 75 by 4 units of water can get into the ship. This is incoming water. 75 4 units of incoming water in 1 hour. Then what is outgoing water? This can take out 12 units of water in 1 hour. Now incoming 75 by 4, outgoing 12. So what is the resultant incoming water? Incoming water is more than, right? This is more than 12. So incoming water is more than. So resultant incoming is 75 by 4 minus 12, which is 27 by 4 units of water is incoming for every 1 hour. So for every 1 hour, ship is getting 27 by 4 units of water in it. Then to get this 60 units of water, how much time it takes? Time is 60 by, for every 1 hour, 27 by 4 will come to the numerator. So this becomes 3 9s, 320. So 80 by 9 hours. It takes 80 by 9 hours. Now you are asked to find the speed. Speed is nothing but distance by time. What is the distance the ship has to travel? 40 kilometers, which is given in the question. And how much time it has? 80 by 9 hours. 9 will come to the numerator. So if I simplify 41s, 42s, 9 by 2, 4.5 kilometer per hour. And don't worry, in the options it is there. Fourth option, 4.5 kilometer per hour. I repeat, incoming water in 1 hour is 75 by 4 units. Outgoing water for 1 hour is 12 units. So resultant incoming is incoming minus outgoing, which is 24 by 7 units of water. For every 1 hour, the ship is getting 27 by 4 units of water. Then to get this 60 units of water, how much time it takes? To get 60 units of water, how much time it takes? 80 by 9 hours. Now this is the time and this is the distance. So speed is distance by time. On simplifying, we got 4.5 kilometer per hour. That is the speed that the ship has to maintain to avoid sinking in the water. Let's move to the next question. A takes 10 days less than B to complete a work, and together they do it in 12 days. Then in how many days can B alone or A alone? I am not sure. Let us check both. Let us see what is there in the options. The image is not clear. So first of all, given both finish the work in 12 days and A takes 10 days less than B. Right. By trial and error method, we all know these are simple basic questions, right? If A takes 20 days, B takes 30 days, they together take 12 days, right? Because A one day work 1 by 20, B one day work 1 by 30, LCM 60, 3 plus 2, 5 by 60, 1 day work 1 by 12. If the 1 day work is 1 by 12, they take 12 days. So that means A takes 20, B takes 30. Obviously, A is taking 10 days less than that. So that means if the question is how many days A alone takes, answer should be 20. If the question is how many days B alone takes, answer should be 30. But again, none of them is there in the options. If the question is about how many days A alone takes, 20. If the question is how many days B alone takes, 30. But that is not there in the options. I may be wrong, you can check it. But it appears to be a simple question. A takes 10 days less than B to complete a work, and together they do it in 12 days. So A 20, B 30, right? Okay, you check it again. Next question, a Venn diagram question. This is simple compared to the yesterday's question, because in yesterday's question there were 5 variables. Here there are only 3: movies, news, songs. Let us see the question. This information is about surveying 150 persons in a population out of 12,000. This is about only 150 people in a population of about 12,000. Now, how many persons or people can be expected to watch at least 2 TV programs? What do you mean by at least 2 or 3? Here, what are the people who are the people who are watching 2 TV programs? These 24 who are watching movies and news but not songs. These 16 who are watching movies and songs but not news. And these 10 who are watching news and songs but not movies. So all these are watching 2 exactly. At least 2 is nothing but 2 or 3. So 3 is nothing but 4 people who are watching all 3. So this is 40, 54. Now, out of 150, 54 people are watching. If the survey is done on 150, 54 people are watching, then in a total population of 12,000, how much we can expect? Ratio proportion, proportionate concept, right? So this is exactly 15 8's 120, so 80 times. This is exactly 80 times. So here also 54 into 80, 432, 0, 43,200, second option. Yeah, whatever this 54 you found, that is for out of 150. You are asked to find in a population of 12,000 how much we can expect in this proportion. For in a 150 population, 54 are satisfying this condition of at least 2 TV programs. Then in a population of 12,000, how much this could be? 4,320. There is one more question based on the same data. 2 questions are given and same information. Here the question is, how many persons can be expected to watch news only? First of all, here news only 36, but this is out of 150, 36 are watching news only. But in a population of 12,000, how much we can expect? That is the question. So again, as the relation is 80 times, here it is 80. So 36 into 80, 36 8s 240, 288. So 2,880. That will be there in the options. You can select this as the answer. Answer 2,880. These are watching only news. Right. Let's move to the next question. Again, interestingly, the question is related to statistics, but the options are something like variables, R only, both R and S, again mismatched options. Let's see, I don't know whether all the students got the same mismatch in the options, or maybe few students who are facing the server issue got these. I'm not sure, I have not taken the exam, but you don't have to worry. This problem will be rectified by such a legendary great MNC company. In case of frequency distribution for 10 continuous classes, the class width is 4, nothing but class interval is 4, and the lower class limit of lowest class is 8. I hope you understood. class interval starting with 8 with a width 4. So what could be the first class interval? 8 to 12, next 12 to 16, next 16 to 20, next 20 to 24. So like this, what is the upper class limit of highest class? Total 10 classes will be there. So it should be 10 fours 40 difference. 10 fours 40 difference, so highest class should be 48. Yes or no? With 4 4 as the width, 10 classes, so difference should be 40. 10 fours 40. Therefore highest class should be 8 plus 40, 48. That is the answer. If you want, you can write next one 24 to 28, next 28 to 32, 32 to 36, 36 to 40, 40 to 44, 44 to 48 is the 10th class. Sorry. Next one. 10 men can complete a job in 8 days and 10 women can complete the same job in 12 days. Then how many days 3 men and 6 women take to do the same work? It's very simple, right? Straightforward time and work question. If 10 men take 8 days, then what is 1 man 1 day work? 1 by 80. What is 1 woman 1 day work? 1 by 120. Now if 3 men work, 1 man 1 day work 1 by 80. If 3 men work, 3 by 80 plus 1 woman 1 day work 1 by 20. When 6 women work, 6 by 120. So if I simplify, it's LCM 240. So this is 3 times 3 plus 3, 3 into 3, 9 plus 12, 21 by 240. So their 1 day work is 21 by 240. That means they take 240 by 21 days. 240 by 21 days. So if I simplify, 3 sevens, 3 80s, 80 by 7, which is nothing but 11 3 by 7. 11 3 by 7, first option. 11 3 by 7 is the answer. Thank God options are correct and answer is 11 3 by 7. Next one. When the list price of an article is fixed at 30% above the cost price and while selling the same, it is subjected to a discount of X%, the profit percentage is 80% of what when the list price is fixed at 25% above the cost price and the discount of 16%. What is the value of X? So appears to be very complicated when you read it for the first time, but don't be panic, just put the information on the paper. If you want, you can pause the video and try. Here is my approach. In the second case, I have given with everything, so I can calculate the profit. So let the cost price be 100. Now list price is 25% above the cost price, which is 125. Discount offered 16%. Now 16% on 125, 16% on 125 is, if I simplify, 16 by 100 into 125, 25 fours, 25 fives, 4 ones, 20 rupees is the discount. So on 125, 20 rupees is the discount. What is selling price? Market price minus discount, which is 105 rupees. So cost price 100, selling price 105. Then what is the profit? 5 rupees, that is 5%. So profit is 5%. So in this case, profit 5%. Then in the first case, the profit is 80% of what it was. That means in the first case, the profit percentage is 80% of what it was. So here it is for 5%. So here what is the profit? 80% of 5%, which is 4%. Profit is 4%. Right? 80% of 5% is 4%. So profit is the 4%. Now, again same article, cost price 100, list price 30% above, so market price 130, discount is X% that we have to find, but just now we have already calculated profit 4%. On 100, 4% profit, so what could be selling price? 104. But before selling it for 104, it marked at 130, sold at 104. Then what is the discount offered? 26 rupees. So how do you find discount percentage? 26 on 130, discount is on market price into 100. 13 twos, 26 ones, 26 fives, 1 by 5 into 100, which is 20%. So X value is 20%, but this is not there in the options. I don't know whether I am wrong or question is wrong. I tried couple of times, but again I am getting the same answer every time. So if I am wrong, you please correct me in the comment section. I got X value as 20%. Right? Let's move to the next one. What is the difference between the range and standard deviation of all the natural numbers from 81 to 90, both inclusive? The numbers are 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. And you have to find the difference between range and standard deviation. First of all, what is range? Difference between highest and least. 90 highest, least 81, 9. Already in one of my videos, I made a mistake in calculating the range. I took the least value as 4 instead of 3, but here, yeah, I think I'm right. Range 90 minus maximum minus minimum, 9 is the range. And standard deviation. How do you find standard deviation? First of all, you have to find mean. What is mean? Since these are all natural numbers and these are 10 numbers, these are 10 observations, which is even number. So when there are even number of observations, you will see two numbers in the middle. These 85 and 86 are in the middle. Mean of these two is the mean, which is 85.5. Right? This is the mean. Of course, for the same information, median also same 85.5, and mode also you will get same 85.5. So for this observation, which is called symmetric observation, symmetric data, mean, mode, median all become same. But anyway, that is a different thing here. So we got mean. Then how do you find standard deviation? It should be the square root of, first of all, square of deviation of each observation. 85.5 minus 81, 4.5 whole square, plus 85.5 minus 82, 3.5 whole square, plus 2.5 whole square, plus 1.5 whole square, plus 0.5 whole square, and again from here same thing repeats. From 86 again same thing repeats. So can I write this as all together into 2? Into 2, because the same thing repeats, by number of observations 10. Number of observations 10. So if I simplify, this is 4.5 whole square is 20.25, whereas this is 12.25, this is 6.25, this is 2.25, this is 0.25. So if I add all these, 2.25 into 0.25, 2.5. Let me add round figures first. 20 plus 12, 32 plus 6, 38 plus 2, 40. 40, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 0.25, 1.25, that is 41.25 into 2, which is 82.5, by 10, that is 8.25 under root. Under root 8.25 is less than 3, obviously, because root 9 is 3, right? Root 9 is 3, under root 8.25 is less than 3. But in the options you have integers. I don't know how you get integers for this information. So again another question with wrong options. What you are asked to find the difference between range and standard deviation, right? Yeah, it's not over. So range is 9, and standard deviation is less than 3. So difference could be more than 6, right? Let's say if you take this as 2.7 or something, then 9 minus 2.7 is 6.3. Even to take approximate value, there is no option, right? Even to take approximate value, there is no option. It should be close to 6, right? So again another mistake with the options. Here range is 9, standard deviation is less than 3, close to 3. You are asked to find the difference between range and standard deviation, which is 6.3 or something, but in the options it is not there. Okay, anyway, let's move to the next question. What a frustrating calculation this one is. There is nothing in it, you just have to go by BODMAS rule. So I am not explaining this in detail. If I explain this in detail, it is like insulting you. So first you have to perform OF off operation. First this is, I am not explaining completely, I am just telling you this is 5 by 2 off into 5 by 2, 5 by 7 is 14, 19 by 7, that 7 will come to the numerator. And then you have to subtract this 1, 2 by 3 is nothing but 5 by 3 by 5 by 2. So this is this value, and then here you have already something called plus, which is 11 by 4. So all this simplification if you do, I can tell you the answer is 5. Answer is 5. Use calculator. What I suggest you for this question, use calculator on screen. Use that on screen calculator. But again, typing these numbers is not an easy task, right? Then what do you do? And at the same time in TCS, you cannot skip a question. You have to you will move to the next question only after answering this. So what I tell you, be cool, calculate this. If you get the same question, without any hesitation, go for this as answer. 5 is answer. Or if you feel that they may change some numbers, then calculate. There is no alternate. I'm sorry, I cannot help you in this question. Next one. Given below is a question followed by two statements 1 and 2 each containing some information. Decide which of the statements is or sufficient to answer. Data sufficiency question. Sumit is 5 years younger than Amit. Sorry, first of all, I forgot to read the question. The question is, how old is Sumit? What is the age of Sumit? Is the question. What is the age of Sumit is the question. To answer this question, which of the provided data is sufficient? Sumit is 5 years younger than Amit, who is double the age of Pratik. So I don't think this will give you the age of Sumit. So 1 alone is not sufficient. Pratik is 10 years older than Ravi, whose age is 22 years. In this, there is no Sumit at all. So 2 alone is not sufficient. 1 alone is not sufficient. 2 alone is not sufficient. Then obviously you have to combine. If you combine, definitely you will get it. But don't go for solving. Because now you know Ravi 22. When you know Ravi 22, Pratik is 10 years elder. So Pratik is 32. I am telling you do not solve, but I am solving. Now this Pratik is, Amit is double the age of Pratik. So Amit will be 64. Amit will be double the age of Pratik. And Sumit is 5 years younger than Amit. So Sumit is 59. Somehow we got his age. How you got it? By combining both 1 and 2 together. So answer 1 and 2 together are sufficient to answer the question. Right. That is option. Both 1 and 2 together is option. First one. The combination of both statements 1 and 2 are necessary to answer the question. This is the answer. Let's move to the next one. There are 5 persons in a family A, B, C, D and E. In each, one is working as doctor, one is lawyer and one is engineer. That means out of 5 people, only 3 are working. Doctor, lawyer, engineer. A and D are unmarried ladies who are not working. So that means A and D are not working. And these both are female. None of the ladies is working in the family. None of the ladies is working as a doctor and a lawyer. That means ladies are not doctors and lawyers in the family. E is the husband of the only married couple in the family. B is the brother of C. By the way, A and D already female and B is the brother of C. That means B is male. E is the husband, E is also male. So don't you think C is the third female in the family? Right? Yes. So that means E is the husband and E is the husband of C. Husband and wife. Okay. C is female. And B is the brother of C. B is the brother of C. B is male. Okay. Right. So he says no female is either doctor or lawyer in the family. So that means C is also not doctor. C is also not doctor. A is also not doctor because female. And D is also not doctor because again female. And now E or B can be doctors. E or B can be doctors. One between them. Here he said B is the brother of C and neither lawyer and nor an engineer. B is neither lawyer nor engineer. Out of the 3 professions, if he is neither lawyer nor engineer, obviously he must be the doctor. B is the doctor. This B is the doctor. Unnecessarily we read all the statement. Had we read this last statement, we would have got the answer. B is the brother of C and neither lawyer nor an engineer. Out of 3 professions, lawyer and engineer, if he is not lawyer and engineer, obviously he must be doctor. So who is the doctor in the family? B. Last statement has given us the answer straight away. B is the doctor in the family. Then what is E? We do not know and that is not required, right? Okay, let's move to the next one. A cube is made by folding the given sheet. Then what is the symbol opposite to the face having a symbol percentile? This one. Obviously you all know. This one is opposite to this. This is opposite to this. This is opposite to this. So here A and Y are opposite. Plus and ash are opposite. And percentage and dollar are opposite. So you are asked to find what is opposite to percentile. It's dollar, which is option 2. A straightforward folding paper question. A very easy one. Right. Let's move to the next one. Data interpretation appears to be very complicated, but there is nothing in the question. Read it. The percentage marks scored by 2 students A and B at 4 consecutive monthly tests are depicted in the bar graph given below. In which month is the percentage marks scored by B 40% more than that by A? In which month marks scored by B is 40% more than A. By the way, B is represented in orange color, A is represented in blue color. Here B should be more than A, so orange should be more than blue. So this is eliminated. Orange should be more than blue. Now let us go by trial and error method. Here in August, A 50, B 70. Now by how many marks B scored than A? 20 by 50 into 100. So which is 2 by 5, 40%. So luckily my trial and error August itself satisfied. In August, A scored 50, B scored 70. So by what percentage B marks more than A marks? 20 by 50 into 100, which is 40%. And that is what we want. So answer August. In which month you are asked? August. I don't have options, but among the options, if you see an option called August, let us take it as answer. Answer is in August month, marks scored by B is 40% more than that of A. Right. Next question. Given below is a question followed by two statements. I think again data sufficiency. Which of the data is sufficient to answer the question? Among 6 persons PQRSTU, how many are teachers? How many are teachers? I think yesterday on 24th October questions, I have explained one such similar question. Q and T are teachers, and this statement is true. So we are asked to find how many are teachers. Here we know only Q and T, 2 are teachers, but we do not know about others. So one alone is not sufficient. At least one of P and R is a teacher, and this statement is false. That means both P and R are not teachers, and S and U's status is same as that of P and R. As P and R not teachers, then S and U are also not teachers. But in this statement, we do not know about T and Q. So in the second statement, we know that 4 people P, R, S, U are not teachers, but we are not given anything about T and Q. So 2 alone is not sufficient. When 1 alone is not sufficient, 2 alone is not sufficient, then next we have to combine. On combining, in the first one we came to know Q and T are teachers. In the second, remaining all are not teachers. So clearly I can say that there are 2 teachers among them. So both 1 and 2 together sufficient. Both 1 and 2 together sufficient to say that there are 2 teachers. So answer option 4. Similar question as asked in yesterday's test as well as in sample DRC test. Okay, let's move to the next one. I think this is going to be the last one from from this video. I'm not sure. Let's see. If this is from statements assumptions. If he is a hard worker, he will succeed in life. This is the statement. Then what is the assumption of the author in giving the statement? The author is clearly saying that if he is a hard worker, he will succeed in life. First assumption. To succeed, he must be a hard worker. Need not be. He is saying that if you are hard worker, you will get success. But he doesn't say it doesn't mean that to get success you must be a hard worker. So first one need not be an assumption. Second, he will succeed in life. That is again not an assumption. He says if he is a hard worker, he will succeed in life. If the person is a hard worker, he will succeed in life. So again, 2 is also not an assumption. He will succeed in life. It is a condition. If the person is a hard worker, he will succeed. So therefore here none of them is conclusion. None of 1 and 2 are implicit. A very simple statements assumptions question. Next one. Data sufficiency. Which of the statements are sufficient to answer the question? The ratio of fees to 2 different schools is 2:2.5. Ratio of fees to 2 different schools is 2:2.5. What would be the fees of the second school if discount of 25% and 35% are given on both schools respectively? Similar kind of question we have discussed yesterday regarding selling price, market price, discount, but here regarding school price. Now first, you are asked to find the school fees of the second school fees we are asked to find. The discount on the second school fees is 8,750. By the way, from this information, as the ratio of the fees is 2:2.5, I can take it as 2x and 2.5x. On this 2.5x, discount is given as 35%. And that we came to know 35% of 2.5x is given as 8,750. So obviously by solving this you will get x value. Don't try to find out, you will get x value. So when you get x value, if you substituted this 2.5x, you will get the school fees of second school. So that means 1 alone is sufficient to find the second school fees. Second, the difference between the discount on 2 schools fees is 3,750. That is also. What is the discount on the first one? 25% of 2x fees. And what is the discount on the second school? 35% on 2.5x. This difference is given as 3750. Again, this is a simple equation which you can solve for x, and if you get x value, if you substitute 2.5x, you will get second school fees. So 2 alone is also sufficient, right? So 1 alone is sufficient, 2 alone is sufficient. Therefore, answer is either statement 1 alone or statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question. So answer is last option. Right. Let's move to the next one. This is from blood relations. In a certain code, P plus Q means P is the father of Q. All that is given. Which of the following equation shows A is the uncle of D? Now, A becomes uncle of D only if A is male. First of all, A should be male. Let us eliminate some options where A is not male. Now, if you see here, for minus relation, sister. So, in A minus D, A is the sister. If A is sister female, how can A be uncle? So, first option eliminate. In the last option also, A minus B, this says A is sister of B, so that is also eliminated. So, two options we eliminated smartly without executing them, because in these two options A is female. That's how you can save time. Otherwise, you have to execute all the options. So, as we have eliminated two options, let us see the second. A divided by B. What is division here? A is the brother of B. A is the brother of B. That means A is male and A is the brother of B. Next, B and C are connected by plus. Plus in the sense father. B is the father of C. If B is the father, male of C. So clearly here B is the father of C. And next, C and D are connected by minus. If two letters are connected by minus, sister. That means C is the sister of D. C is the sister in the sense female. By the way, for D, B is father. Father's brother is uncle. So obviously, in this second expression only, A is the uncle of D. Because for D, A is father's brother and father's brother is uncle. So in second option itself, A is the uncle of D. That is the answer. Right? Yes. Let's move to the next. Remember how to eliminate options, right? By using the gender, you can eliminate some options. Let's move to another blood relation question. Here, in this expression, which of the following is true? First, T and Z are connected by division. That means T is the son of Z. T is the son of Z. That means T is male. And next, Z and U are connected by into. So that means Z is the brother of U. Z is the brother of U. So that means Z is male. And U and W are connected by plus, which is wife. U is the wife of W. U is the wife, so that means female. And W is male. These two are wife and husband. Now, first option. U is the aunt of T. Is U the aunt of T? U the aunt of T? Absolutely. Because for U, T, Z is the father. Father's sister is aunt. First one only correct. Second, let us see, U is the uncle of T. No, U is female, right? It cannot be uncle. Third, T is the daughter of Z. No, T is the son of Z. So third, wrong. Wife, W is the wife of Z. No, W is the not wife of Z. So that is also wrong. So only first option is correct. Luckily, first option itself is correct. Of course, you don't have to verify, but just for cross-checking, I verified other options. Okay, right. So here is one question from decision making. I'll read out the information. Directly, let us move to this question. Naveen has completed his graduate in engineering with a specialization of human resource management with minimum 66% marks. What is the first condition? He should be a graduate in engineering specialization in human resource management with 55% marks. That means he satisfied first point. He satisfied first condition. Second, for the last 4 years, he has been working as assistant manager in a reputed organization. So he has 4 years of experience. Second condition says he should have 3 years of full-time experience. He has more than that. So second is satisfied. He has now secured 55% in the interview, 56% in the written test. But here he said he should get 60% in interview, 70. So that means he failed third condition. He did not get required percentage in interview and written test. But here he said, however, in case if the applicant satisfies all other criteria except three, but has graduate in engineering with specialization of human resource management with minimum 65%. Yes, he has 66%, so he satisfied this. And his or case referred to be general manager. So he failed option 3, but he satisfied its alternate C. What is its alternate? He should have minimum 65% in graduation, but he has 66%, so he has satisfied C. Then in that case, he should be referred to be general manager. Therefore, answer is here general manager for this candidate who is called Naveen. Naveen is general manager. I don't have options, but that is the answer. Right. And I think this is the last question from this video. From syllogisms, all cloths are shirts. All cloths are shirts. All shirts are pants. All shirts are pants. And all coats are also pants. But we don't know where to write coats. You can write anywhere. You can write inside the cloths. You can write wherever you want. All coats, I'm writing here, also pants. You can write anywhere. Okay. You have all the freedom to write coats anywhere inside the pants circle. Sorry. First one. No cloth is a cot. Yes, these are cloths, these are cots, they are not intersecting. Negative, it has become true. But this negative has become true only in basic Venn diagram. This can be proved false by intersecting cots and cloths. I can also draw in this way. What is the first statement? All cloths are shirts. Second, all shirts are pants. And third, all cots also pants. I can write cots here. Then this first one, no cloth is a cot, has become false. Now that has become false in alternate Venn diagram. AVD. This is BVD, basic Venn diagram. So first one is false. Second, some cots are shirts. Are some cots shirts? No, need not be. Third, some pants are cloths. Obviously. Cloths are inside the pants. So obviously some pants are cloths. Third one is conclusion. Fourth, some cots are cloths. Now if you see, pay attention carefully. First conclusion and fourth conclusion are called complementary. Opposite. No cloth is cot. Some cots are cloths. When the conclusions are complementary and when negative has become true in basic Venn diagram, positive has become false. And in the process of making negative false, I have drawn an alternate Venn diagram. In that, negative has become false, but now positive is true. What exactly I am trying to say? This fourth one, some cots are cloths, is false in basic Venn diagram but true in alternate Venn diagram. So what has happened? When negative is true, positive is false. When negative is false, positive is true. That means either 1 or 4 definitely follow. Either 1 or 4 and 3 follow. Either 1 or 4 and 3 compulsory. 3 compulsory, either 1 or 4. So I think you can see one option here. Only either 1 or 4 and 3 follow. That is the answer. Either 1 or 4 and 3 follow. So this is from syllogisms. By the way, I have uploaded videos on all the topics which are just for free of cost. Unlike other YouTube channels, I am not charging anything for my videos. You can watch them for free of cost any number of times. You can share with any number of people. If you like my explanation, then do like the video, share with as many friends as you can. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. That is the only thing that you can do. I am doing all this for you. You just subscribe to my channel and share my video with as many as you can. Thank you so much and wait for evening slot video which I will be uploading soon. By tonight, by midnight, I will upload the evening slot questions as well. Thank you.